Welcome students. This is Mr. Amal Arakiraj, your English teacher. My dear students, in last class we have seen After 20 Years written by Ho Entry. We have completed half lesson in last class. Today we are going to continue the next half lesson. So before that, my dear students, I am going to recapitulate all points that we have understood in last class. After 20 Years by O. Henry is an interesting story. The story entitled After 20 Years is about two best friends who had to part ways. They returned to keep an appointment they had made 20 years ago. Bob is waiting at the door of a hardware store in New York to meet his friend Jimmy Wells. A police is on patrol duty. Policeman asks Bob why he is standing there. Bob tells the cop that he, means Bob, is waiting to meet his friend. Bob says that before parting they had made a promise to meet at the same place, at the same time, on the same date after 20 years. Bob tells the policeman that he has kept his promise. Bob is sure that Jimmy Wells will surely come and meet him. So my dear students, we have recapitulated. So we know about Bob and Jimmy Wells and the police who is wearing plain cloth. See here, it is an interesting story about two best friends who parted ways. They had an appointment. What is the appointment? After 20 years they had to meet. Where they had to meet? At the door of hardware store. Where it is? In New York. And who is coming? Who is on the beat? Okay, who is on the beat? The policeman doing his duty. The duty is called patrol duty. And see here, and the policeman is looking Bob, who is in the door place, and they have some conversation. What they converse, that is you know very well. So what is conversing that you know very well? Simply or briefly, I am saying that Bob is waiting at the door of hardware store for his friend Jimmy Wells. Like that he is saying. So what happened after that? That we are going to see today in our lesson. The waiting man pulled out a handsome watch. The lid of it set with small diamonds. 3 minutes to 10, he announced. It was exactly 10 o'clock when he parted here at the restaurant door. Did pretty well out west, didn't you? Asked the policeman. You bet. I hope Jimmy has done off as well. He was a kind of loader, though good fellow as he was. I have had to compete with some of the sharpest with going to get my pile. A man gets in a groove in New York. He takes the west to put a razor edge on him. So here, what is given? Who is waiting? Bob. So he has a handsome watch. It is made of diamond. Where it is made of diamond? In the lid தெரியுமா? அதாவது அந்த மூடியில் டைமண்டால் உருவாக்கப்பட்டிருக்கிற ஒரு வாட்ச். ஓகே, so set with small diamonds. So we can believe that Bob is a rich person or a good businessman. And now 3 minutes to 10, he announced. Bob announced 3 minutes to 10 in order to get 10 o'clock. Why here he is mentioning 10 o'clock? Because it was the time they departed before 20 years. That's why Bob is mentioning that time. Do you understand, my dear students? Okay, why is telling the time exactly? Because at the time they wanted to meet again. Now the policeman is asking question. What is the question? Did pretty well out west, didn't you? Were you okay in the west country or not? Like that the policeman is asking. அங்கே உனக்கு எல்லாம் கரெக்டாக இருந்துச்சா? நல்லா சம்பாரிச்சியா? நல்லா வியாபாரம் பண்ணியா? நம்ம கேட்போம்ல நம்ம ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸ் who went to abroad. How is your life in abroad? Like that we may arise some questions. அது மாதிரி the policeman is asking a question. How was your life in west? He said, Bob said, it was nice, excellent. It was nice, excellent. அது சொல்லிட்டு he's saying about Jimmy Wells. என்ன சொல்றான்னு பாருங்க. Jimmy Wells is a person of blotter. Blotter means trustworthy person and good fellow. நல்ல மனிதன் அப்படின்னு is comparing the values of Jimmy Wells. And he is telling the life in west country, how he was surviving. அதையும் சொல்றார். அங்க அவர் என்னென்ன பண்ணாரு அப்படின்னு Bob is telling to the policeman. Sir, we have to compete all the man with the intellectual skill. We have to have intellectual skill. If you are intelligent only, we can manage in west. அறிவு இருந்தாதான் வெஸ்ட் கண்ட்ரியில் நம்ம சர்வை பண்ண முடியும். we can survive in west country if we have intellectual power or skill, because many businessmen are competing there. அங்கே எல்லாம் போட்டி போடுவாங்க பிஸ்னஸில் அப்படின்னு who is telling? Bob is telling. But here those who are living in New York, for them it was difficult to be in west. நியூயார்க்கில் இருக்கிற மக்களுக்கு வெஸ்ட்டில் இருப்பது ரொம்ப ரொம்ப கஷ்டம். அங்கே they have to face a critical situation. See here, razor age is given, means critical situation. So in west country, if you want to go, you have to survive, you have to use your knowledge. My dear students, you just think, are you using your knowledge for education? Because it is a competitive world. You have to compete many people. So you think yourself. The policeman twirled his glove and took a step or two. I'll be on my way. Hope your friend comes around all night. All right. Going to call on him sharp. I should say not, said the other. I will give him half hour at least. If Jimmy is alive on earth, he'll be here by that time. So long, officer. Good night, sir, said the policeman, passing on along his beat, trying doors as he went. So in this paragraph, we can understand the policeman is going to move. He is having glove, glove, lati, okay, in his hand, and he wants to step forward, saying, I am going to continue my job. What is his job? Trying doors, okay, observing all the doors, whether okay or not, safe or not safe, like that. And what you are going to do, if Jimmy Wells is not coming at exact time, அவன் அந்த கரெக்டான நேரத்துக்கு வரலனா, what you are going to do, like that. The policeman is asking a question to the Bob. Bob is very strong. He is believing his friend. நீங்களா உங்கள் ஃப்ரெண்டை பிலீவ் பண்ணீங்களா மாட்டிங்களா? எஸ், ஆஃப்கோர்ஸ் யூ வில். யூ ஆல்வேஸ், யூ எவர் believe your friends. Like that, Bob is also believing his friend. Of course, he will come. If it is not exact time, I will give him extra 30 minutes more. ஒரு 30 நிமிஷம் அவனுக்கு எக்ஸ்ட்ரா கொடுப்பேன். Definitely he will be back. Like that, Bob is saying. if he is alive on this world, definitely he will come. இந்த இந்த பிரபஞ்சத்தில், இந்த உலகத்தில், இந்த பூமியில் அவர் இருந்தார்னா, ஜிம்மி வேல்ஸ், if he is alive, he will come definitely, like that he is saying. So policeman, you can move on. உங்களுக்கு நேரம் ஆச்சு, you can move on. That's why he had given so long. So long means, okay, since we have been talking, there is a time, long period he has taken. That's why Bob says you can have your profession or your duty, responsibility as yourself, like that. That's why the man is saying good night, and I am going to continue my profession, responsibility. So in this paragraph, what you have to think, okay? So we are studying, we are educating ourselves. So in middle or in between, we have to concentrate in other things. For example, sports. Okay, for example, here policeman in between talking to Bob, but after talking with Bob, he is continuing or doing his duty. So like that, when we study, we can have lot of enjoyments. If we have lot of enjoyments too, we have to study. That we must focus, my dear students. See, my dear students, next slide. There was now a fine gold drizzle falling, cold drizzle falling, and the wind had risen from its uncertain boughs into a steady blow. A few foot passengers astir in that quarter hurried dismally and silently along with coat, collars turned high, and pocketed hands. And in the door of the hardware store, the man who had come 1,000 miles to fill an appointment, uncertain almost to absurdity, with a friend of his youth, spoke his cigar and waited. So my dear students, in this paragraph it is given, there was a cold drizzle. Drizzle means a drop of rain, மழை தூறல். And the blow is steady, காற்று சீராக வீசுகிறது. So it is symptom of raining, right? அதாவது மழை வருவதற்கு ஒரு symptom. Definitely it may come, மழை கூட வரலாம். That's why all people hurrying, walking, okay, to get their destiny, அவங்களுடைய இலக்கை அடைவதற்கு விரைகிறார்கள். Hurry up means they are getting very fast. Dismally, how they are getting ready, walking very fast, like having dismally. Dismally means not interested, because if it is raining means you'll be drenched fully, you'll be wetted fully, fulla நனைஞ்சிருவீங்க. So there will be a problem, okay? That's why we don't like sometimes raining in the means drenching in the rain. Likewise here, people having disinterest of rain, that's why they move very fast with dismally habit, action. How they are walking from one place to other place, they turned eye their collars in order to close their ears. அவங்க காதை மறைக்கும் வண்ணமாக they turned eyeனா காலரை தூக்கி நிப்பாட்டுறது, ஓகே, தூக்கி வச்சுக்கிறது. And they walked very much fast, and they had their hands inside the pocket because it is a time of cold. So if you walk during rainy season, we get cold. That's why we used to keep our hands inside the pockets of pants. So like that, they moved one place to another place. The same place we standing, our friend Bob is standing for his friend. How? Okay, after crossing 10,000 miles traveling, after traveling 10,000 miles, 1000 மைல் கடந்து வந்து இங்க வெயிட் பண்றான், to wait for his friend, okay? And having blind love on his friend. blind love on his friend. That's why it is given absurdity. Absurdity means, okay, we can't say whether he is coming or not, but he is sure that he will come. And one more position he is giving, that position is smoking the cigar. So in this paragraph like that given. After 20 minutes he waited, and then a tall man in a long overcoat with collar turned up to his ears hurried across from the opposite side of the street. He went directly to the waiting man. "Is that you, Bob?" he asked doubtfully. "Is that you, Jimmy Wells?" cried the man in the door. "Bless my heart!" exclaimed the new arrival, grasping both the other hands with woe. "It's Bob, sure as fate. I was certain I would find you here if you were still in existence. Well, well, well. 20 years is a long time. The whole restaurant's gone. Bob, I wish it had lasted so we could have had another dinner there. How has the West treated you, old man?" Bully. "It has given me everything I asked it for. You have changed lots. Jimmy, I never thought you were so tall by 2 or 3 inches." So after some time, okay, waiting for 20 minutes, 20 நிமிஷமாக வெயிட் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கான். Who is waiting? Bob wait பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கான், my dear students. While waiting, there was a man having height. There was a man height. He is coming, okay, having overcoat, long overcoat, and his collar turned up. அவனுடைய காலரும் கொஞ்சம் ஏத்தி இருந்தது. Up to where? Up to ears, காது வரைக்கும். And he is coming directly to the Bob and is asking, "Is that you, Bob?" நீதான் பாபா? The man who arrived is asking. "Is that you, Jimmy Wells?" Cried out. Cried out means doubtfully asking. Some curiosity to know. Yes, of course. So both they shake hands. They shake hands. And Bob says, "I was certain I would find you here if you were still in existence." Okay, I know I was waiting here for 20 minutes and I was certain means உறுதியா இருந்தேன். I will meet you. And now after 20 years, the restaurant where we had last dinner had gone, had destroyed, okay, had changed. So we can have dinner in another restaurant like that. They are planning. So 20 years before they had a last dinner at the restaurant. Now they are planning, if it were the restaurant now, we would have another dinner right now. அந்த ரெஸ்டாரண்ட் இப்போ இருந்துச்சுன்னா நம்ம இன்னொரு டின்னர் கூட சாப்பிட்டுருந்துக்கலாம் அப்படின்னு they converse. And Jimmy Wells is asking here, Bob, he has a thought on Jimmy Wells that Jimmy Wells was so tall by 2 or 3 inches. Because when Jimmy Wells was child, he was little shorter. Now he has become tall. That's why Bob gets doubtful. So for that, what was the reply of Jim? Let us see. "Oh, I grew a little after I was 20. Doing well in New York, Jimmy? Moderately. I have a position in one of the city departments. Come on, Bob. We will go around to a place I know of and have a good long talk about old times." The two men started up the street, arm in arm. The man from the West, his egotism enlarged by success, was beginning to outline his career of his career, history of his career. The other, submerged in his overcoat, listened with interest. At the corner stood a drugstore, brilliant with electric lights. When they came into this glare, each of them turned simultaneously to gaze upon the other face. The man from the west stopped suddenly and released his arm. So here, Jimmy is answering. So it has been 20 years. That's why I have grown a little bit. கொஞ்சம் உடம்பு போட்டிருக்கு. I have grown a little bit like that. After that, Bob asking a question to Jimmy. Doing well in New York? Jimmy answers moderately, Sumara. Okay, somehow I am okay in New York. And he is telling about his position, what he holds. So he is having a position in one of the city departments. And Jimmy asks, come on, let's go around of the place I know of. Because Jimmy is here so long, so he knows some of the places. So he is asking to join. For what purpose? To have a good talk, a long talk about old times. So 20 years gap happened. So what happened between 20 years? In that 20 years, let us have some talk regarding that. And they started walking. How they started walking? Arm in arm. Listen, my dear students, imagine yourself after seeing your friend so many days after, how you will treat him. You will hug, you will put your hand, you will hold him, you will have arm in arm. So like that, Jimmy holds his hand, Bob's hand, and they had a walk. And Bob tells about his history of his career, how he worked in West, how he gained a pile means sampathiyam, eppadi anga sambaricha, like that. He is telling his whole story. The other man means Jimmy submerged his overcoat, overcoat means it was time of wet, means cold. That's why he is in little bit inside the overcoat and listening keenly with interest. ஆழமாக அவன் காது கொடுத்து அவன் சொல்லியதை, பாப் சொல்லியதை கேட்டுக்கொண்டிருக்கிறான். After, at the corner stood a drugstore, brilliant with electric lights. While going, they had to stand near the drugstore where there was a electric lights. Okay, there it was a light. So after getting light, both happened to see each other. After seeing each other, Bob gets doubted that Jimmy was not Jimmy, he is a other person. So he released his arm. Having doubt, he released his arm. So Bob is having doubt on Jimmy that Jimmy was not Jimmy. That's why he released his hand. See here, my dear students, you are not Jimmy Wells, he snapped. 20 years is a long time, but not long enough to change a man's nose from a Roman to a buck. It sometimes changes a good man into a bad one, said the tall man. You have been under arrest for 10 minutes, Silky Bob. Chicago thinks you may have dropped over our way and voices he wants to have a chat with you. Going quietly, are you? That's sensible. Now, before we go on to the station, here's note I was asked to hand you. You may read it here at the window. It's from Patrol. Bob says, you are not Jimmy, I know. It can be after 20 years. You can be hide, but there never change on nose. மூக்கில் எந்த ஒரு மாற்றமும் இருக்காது. Your nose has been changed. I know Jimmy's nose. Okay, it has a form of Roman, not a buck. Roman means See downside picture, Roman nose means a short nose, and bug nose is, see the first picture upside, it's a wide nose. So my friend Jimmy Wells is having Roman nose which is very short, but you are having bug nose which is very wide. So you are not my friend Jimmy Wells. Like that, he is revealing his doubt. Further, the next person who is opposite is telling, respected Bob, sometimes a good people may change into bad people because of some situation. Like that, I hope you have changed completely. Before 10 minutes, there was a a thing that Chicago Department Police, they have sent a wire. Wire means a message. Wire means a message. Okay, a message sent by wire. Okay, telegram, like that. What is the message? Chicago Police is waiting to arrest you. They said that they needed to arrest you because you were a criminal, you are a criminal businessman. Like that they are telling. So if you are intelligent, you just come quietly. I know, I hope that you are little bit intelligent, so you can come with me quietly. And before going to the police station, this is a note for you given by the person named Wells. You just read nearby the window and then you can come with me. So what is the message in that paper? Let us see. The man from the West unfolded a little bit piece of paper handed to him. His hand was steady when he began to read, but it trembled a little by the time he had finished. The note was rather short. So, the note was given by the police who was opposite to the Bob. Bob கொடுக்குறான் அந்த குறுஞ்செய்தியை. Bob is unfolding. Unfolding means opening the cover, the piece of paper, and he started reading and he trembled. அவனுக்கு சற்று நடுங்கியது. Trembled. He got fear after reading the news. It was short news, not long news. It was a short news. What is the news message? Let us see. Bob, I was at the appointed place on time. When you struck the match to light your cigar, I saw it was the face of a man wanted in Chicago. Somehow I couldn't do it myself, so I went around and got a plainclothes man to do the job. So when they met each other, Bob was striking and lighting the cigar. That time the opposite person, okay, actually he was a real person. The opposite person who came at first, he was a real person. He was a real Jimmy Wells. He could see the face of Bob, and it was a face of criminal, because there was a news from Chicago that we have to arrest Bob because he is in the list of criminal. So he got information before he met his friend Bob, so that he could identify the face, and then he can't arrest him because he is a real friend of him, close friend of him, very best, the best friend of him. So he can't be able to arrest him. That's why he planned to send a normal plainclothes person, actually he was also a policeman, to send him to arrest his friend, because he thinks he was not able to arrest his friend because of having so much longing, so much love, so much respect, compassion, kind, all those qualities. That's why he's saying other man to arrest his friend. See the friendship. So he has to do two things at the same time. He has to do two things at the same time. One is to do his responsibility and to respect or to love his friend. That's why he managed like that. So my dear student, I think that you have understood little bit of the story, and if you read once again from the beginning to the end, it will be very easy to understand, very simple words to understand. So words you just note down, okay, because it will be helpful for your synonyms and antonyms. So very nice story. So you just take a message from this story. You have to do two things in your life career. One is to do responsibility and to love others, especially your friends. That was taken here, the most important message from this lesson. Thank you, student.